Good day, my dear friends. Today I want to speak to you about something foundational, something that can transform the way you live your life, tackle your challenges, and chase your dreams. The message is simple yet profound. Start with God. When you look around and see the beauty of the world, the intricate details of creation, and the miracle of life, you can't help but marvel at the Creator who holds it all together. God is not just a distant being. He is personal, loving, and desires to be part of your life. Yet so often we rush into our plans, our dreams, and our daily routines without inviting Him to be at the center of it all. Starting with God isn't just a nice idea. It's the secret to a fulfilled, purposeful, and victorious life. Starting with God means surrendering your limited understanding and inviting His infinite wisdom into your life. It's not about being perfect or having it all figured out. It's about acknowledging that we need Him every step of the way. When you start with God, you are building your life on a solid foundation. Life will bring storms, but when God is your foundation, you can stand firm no matter what comes your way. Starting with God ensures that your steps are aligned with a greater purpose. When you involve God in your plans, He leads you on the right path. Even when the road seems unclear, His guidance brings clarity and direction. Consider this. Imagine walking through a dense forest without a map or guide. It's easy to get lost, frustrated, or even afraid. But when you have a trusted guide who knows the terrain, you walk with confidence. God is your guide, your map, and your compass. When you involve Him, you avoid unnecessary detours and find peace in the journey. Life is full of uncertainties, dangers, and challenges, but God's protection is like a shield around us. Think about the countless times you've been saved from harm, maybe a near accident, an illness, or a difficult situation that seemed impossible. Often we don't even realize the ways God protects us daily. When you start with God, you walk in His divine protection, knowing that He is watching over you. One of the most beautiful things about starting with God is that He blesses the work of your hands. When you dedicate your dreams, goals, and efforts to God, He multiplies your success. It's not about working harder, but working smarter by partnering with the One who holds the keys to every resource you need. Remember, God's blessings are not limited to material wealth. They include peace, joy, relationships, and opportunities that enrich your life. There are days when life feels overwhelming. You might feel tired, discouraged, or even defeated. But when you start with God, you tap into a source of strength that never runs dry. Starting with God doesn't mean you won't face challenges, but it means you won't face them alone. He strengthens you to keep going, even when the journey is tough. Starting with God begins with acknowledging Him first thing in the morning. Before you check your phone, respond to emails, or dive into your tasks, take a moment to pray, thank Him for a new day, ask for His guidance, and dedicate your plans to Him. This simple act sets the tone for your day and invites His presence into everything you do. Take time to reflect on your life and the values that guide you. By connecting with God regularly, you gain wisdom, encouragement, and direction. Make it a habit to reflect daily, even if it's just a few moments. Let these moments of connection shape your thoughts and decisions. It's natural to have dreams and goals, but true success comes when you surrender them to God. Ask Him to align your desires with His purpose and trust Him to lead you. One of the hardest things is waiting for the right timing. We often want immediate results, but God's plans are perfect, and His timing is never wrong. Trust that everything is working behind the scenes, even when you can't see it. Gratitude is a powerful way to stay connected to God. It shifts your focus from your problems to the blessings around you. When you practice gratitude, you acknowledge His influence in your life and invite more positivity. Whether it's through journaling, meditation, or quiet reflection, make gratitude a daily practice. History and everyday life are filled with examples of people who started with God and experienced incredible breakthroughs. Think about the times in your own life when you involved God in your decisions and saw things work out in ways you couldn't have imagined. Let those moments remind you of His faithfulness. When you start with God, you experience peace that surpasses understanding, joy that isn't dependent on circumstances, and confidence to face life's challenges. You walk in purpose, knowing that your life is part of a greater plan. You also inspire others, showing them the power of faith and obedience. As we conclude, I want to challenge you to make a commitment. For the next 30 days, start with God every day. Pray, reflect, and surrender your plans to Him. Keep a journal of what you experience and how your perspective changes. I believe you will see His hand at work in ways that will amaze you. My dear friends, life is too short and precious to live without God at the center. When you start with Him, you are building a life that cannot be shaken. You are inviting the Creator of the universe to be your partner, guide, and protector. Let me share a funny story to drive this point home. There was once a man named George who thought he could do everything on his own. He decided to start a bakery but never thought to involve God. He was convinced his business acumen and baking skills were all he needed. George went all out. He bought the finest equipment, created elaborate recipes, and even spent hours perfecting his cupcakes. But things didn't go as planned. On opening day, George forgot to turn on the ovens. The customers arrived, but there was nothing to sell. He panicked, rushed to fix the mistake, and in his haste, accidentally locked himself in the freezer. Thankfully, a customer heard his muffled shouts and saved him. Later, when recounting the disaster, George couldn't help but laugh and admit, "I should have started with God." From that day on, he began each morning in prayer, asking for wisdom and guidance. Soon, his bakery became the most loved in town, not just for its delicious pastries, but for the joy and warmth people felt whenever they visited. The moral of George's story? Life without involving God often leads to hilarious or not so hilarious blunders. But when you start with Him, everything falls into place in ways you couldn't have planned yourself. Remember, God loves you deeply and has incredible plans for your life. Embrace this truth and start with God today. Let Him lead you into the abundant life He has prepared for you. Thank you for allowing me to share this message with you. May it inspire you to walk closer with God and experience the blessings that come from starting with Him. Stay encouraged, stay motivated, and always remember to start with God.